I'll be back. Well, maybe not. But the Pixel 6a has something that is back, and that is the camera that won in the blind smartphone test last year. Guy named MKBHD, biggest tech YouTuber out there. Maybe you've heard of him, maybe not. He makes some pretty cool stuff. Now, he did a different ranking for his smartphone camera stuff this year. And, well, after everything averaged out, apparently the Pixel 6a came out on top. I want to place some context on that. I also want to talk about the phone. And it's interesting because the Pixel 5a won last year. It's the same camera. The Pixel 6a has the same camera as the Pixel 5a, which had the same camera as the Pixel 5, 4, 3, all the way back to the 2. Tried and true, very, very good camera. And that's why I really like the Pixel 6a. Very, very, very good phone. And a lot of folks don't understand, just because it doesn't have the new 50 megapixel camera that you get with the Pixel 7 Pro, this was still very capable. You don't have to have a new camera every year. Cameras, they can be used for a very long time, even in the smartphone world, if done properly. And it places some real emphasis on things like, well, computational photography, which is all the stuff that Google does with the processor, the tensor chip, all the AI, machine learning, everything, all the way down to the image signal processor. So lots of crazy stuff going on here, but I want to talk about it. Also, Merry Christmas, by the way, if you're watching this Christmas Day. Happy holidays, and hopefully you and your family are having a wonderful time, and you got everything you wanted, and you got to spend some time with your loved ones. That's the big thing, right? But talking about the Pixel 6a, yeah, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, don't get the Pixel 6a. It's got previous Pixel's camera, and that really just doesn't do it justice, because this isn't like some just cheap run-of-the-mill phone that doesn't have a good camera in it. The Pixel 6a is tremendous value. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. I love the Pixel 6a. It's a fantastic phone. I know there are a lot of people that were on the fence at the whole $449 thing, which I didn't think it was going to last there long, but it's been on sale for quite a while. A lot of places, Google, Best Buy, Amazon, $299. Watching this further down the road, it might not be. Of course, stuff is subject to change. The holiday shopping season is just about over. But can't ever count these guys out. Now, I want to place more context in this though. So the way it was decided, apparently by MKBHD, that this is the best overall photo taking phone, is a lot of voting, a lot of stuff, a lot of ranking and different stuff. There's just things going on there. That's cool. I like that they did that, tried something different instead of just a blind vote test. And I think that it produced some pretty good stuff. Basically, they took all these different smartphones from this last year, 2022, and pitted them up against each other and had lots of voting stuff. When you get to these phones, Pixel 6, iPhone 14 Pro, S22 Ultra, Oppo phone, Xiaomi phone, lots of different phones they threw out there. Is this the best camera phone setup that you can get? No, it is not. The Pixel 6a is not the best camera system you can get in a phone. Their stratification and their criteria was 3 photos with all the same phones, one regular shot, daytime, one nighttime shot, and only one portrait shot with each phone in the exact same setting. That is a good way, just using the auto, just pressing the shutter button, you can get a pretty good determination of what you get from point and shoot camera. Pixels are point and shoot cameras. They're not something that you're really going to get. You don't get a pro mode. You have no control over it. You basically just press the button and get what you get. I mean, of course, you can tap on the screen for autofocus, but there's not, so much of it is done on the hardware side, as opposed to something like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV. It got the worst. Worst for dollar value, worst out of the voting stuff, and, well, that doesn't surprise me because Sony and their camera app on here are not the greatest. When you just use the regular camera app, you have to go in and use the manual mode. That's the whole point. If you're buying the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV and using it as a point-and-shoot camera, you've wasted $1,500. That's not what this phone is for. It's not at all. And it's got some fantastic camera taking capabilities. You can even do 4K at 120. Yes, 4K at 120 frames per second on video. You're not going to get the same level of video capabilities out of here. You're not going to get the same microphone capabilities. You're not going to get macro. You're not going to get telephoto. This one doesn't even have a telephoto camera. It's just got the old school Pixel primary and ultra wide camera. So those are some things that aren't really captured in this test. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted to discuss it because I think there's a lot of merit to it. but I think it also places some emphasis on what it means to have a good smartphone camera and what people should expect. Because if you just want something to tap and shoot and get photos, the iPhone and the Pixels are the best around. You get a fast shutter speed, you get great exposure, you get good HDR, you get great computational photography, you get good, reliable, consistent photos. If you want the best selfie camera, at least out of the ones I've tested, my preference is the S22 Ultra. If you want the best zoom capabilities, also to me, S22 Ultra. But there's some other intermediary stuff, because when you talk about other things, talk about focal length, talk about the continuous zoom. That's one of the reasons I like the Xperia 1 Mark IV so much, because you can instantly switch over to the lens, do the continuous zoom, and use the different stuff that you have there. So it just depends on what you want, what you need, and what you want in an overall phone. I think that the Pixel 6a is a tremendous value. I think it's the best value phone of 2022. Unrivaled at $299. There's just nothing that I think in the United States that's worth considering at that price point better around $299 in the Pixel 6a. Great phone. It's almost so good it makes it a really hard decision to buy even sometimes maybe even a Pixel 7, which has been on sale for $499, but some people don't want to spend that much. I know some people that I've talked to like, no, I'm not spending $500 on a phone. That's crazy. And that's fine. People's priorities, prerogatives, financial situations, and what they care about in a phone are all completely different. And that's one reason why I cover so many phones on this channel. There's a wide gambit of different phones that people want, and that's why we have so many phones out there in the smartphone market. So I think it's important to look at this stuff. Bang for buck, that's also something value added in when you take a look at, okay, is the Pixel 6a the best? Well, when you stack it up against a $1,500 camera and you do a point and shoot that's not so good, tap on the screen, and then you look at a $299 phone or a $449 phone, and then you do the same thing and it renders a better picture, then that kind of skews heavily in favor of the cheaper phone, which is fine. I'm not trying to say that in point and shoot capabilities, this 6a is not, from a primary perspective or even a portrait mode, maybe better. So just things to take into consideration. Not saying that your Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV doesn't have a good camera. Not saying your iPhone 14 Pro Max doesn't have a good camera compared, but some of the stuff that you take into consideration, value for price, $299. Look at the Pixel 7, $499. Well, Pixel 7, $499. Newer technology, newer 50 megapixel camera, fantastic phone. Still no telephoto, still no macro, still no other things. So when you paint a narrow picture, you get a narrow result, and it doesn't necessarily illuminate the benefits you get with a lot of these other phones. I mean, take a look at the S22 Ultra, for example. It has Pro Mode. You can control all the different things. You get the Sony Alpha camera set up. Basically, shooting with the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV is like shooting with a handheld DSLR, which is great. You get so much control, so many things you can adjust, and if you know what you're doing, you can get amazing photos. But for someone who's a layman who's not really into all that stuff, adjusting ISOs and brightness and white balance and zooms and focus and all that stuff, yeah, you probably don't want to spend that much money. But you're probably not the person that phone and that smartphone system was designed for with that camera. So bearing all those things in, I'm really excited to see that we're still getting such great stuff out of the Pixel 6a. And imagine now, Pixel 6a, that camera's been around since the Pixel 2 system. That's a long time. So if you look at what we're getting with the Pixel 7, just imagine 4 or 5 years from now, when we're at like the Pixel 10, Pixel 11, wherever they might be at by then, what kind of stuff we're still going to be getting out of that because of the chip, the computational photography, the quickness, and the great Google camera setup that you get in the phone. So I think there's a lot of takeaways here. But yes, I think definitely the Pixel 6a, pound for pound, dollar for dollar at $299, definitely can render some amazing photos. That point and shoot technology is just so good. And the Pixel, and that's whenever people talk about the Pixel camera, those are some of the great things you can talk about. So much so, even taking a look at the Pixel 7, Pixel 7 Pro, that primary camera, still the best in the US as far as the primary camera. And you're looking at significantly cheaper, lower cost than a lot of more expensive phones. So I think there's a lot of stuff to digest here, but very cool to see that. Definitely go watch MKBHD's video. You can learn more about it and how they performed all that stuff. I'll put a link in the description. He makes some pretty interesting content. Definitely high caliber for sure. Much better looking than mine. Much better looking than me probably too. But maybe not with these shades. I think the shades are pretty good, right? Anyway, so hopefully I don't have to wear these much longer. Just a sneak peek, my eyes are mostly back to normal. Been unfortunate circumstances and set of events. Not really disclaimed at the beginning of the video, but if you've been following along, you've been in my community channel stuff on YouTube for the last week or so, I ended up with an abrasion on my eye, which subsequently got a strep infection in it, which is what I discovered, which was why my optometrist raised all the alarms and sent me down to Baylor to their on-call physician on a Sunday a week ago. So for me today, on Christmas, very happy to be able to see presents and family and be in a much better position than I was a week ago. But thank you so much to everyone for all the thoughts and prayers and well wishes. On the road to recovery, hopefully another week or two, I'll be done with all the antibiotic eye drops and life will be back to normal. But scary stuff, and thankfully I'm very safely, I think, out of possible eye patch lifestyle for the rest of my life. But thanks again, and hopefully you and your families and your loved ones all have a wonderful Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope you got everything you wanted. I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember the reason for the season. Also, of course, family, family, family. Like they say, you live your life 1/4 mile at a time, right? Anyway, it's a Fast and Furious reference. But love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Also, leave your comments. I want to know what you guys think about this, of course, and also your own thoughts and opinions on maybe what you think the best smartphone camera of the year is, or what you're using right now and how happy you are with it. So that's all I got. Signing off. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hope you have a beautiful and happy Christmas day. And if you're watching this later, I hope you have a wonderful day too, because this is something that probably people will watch after Christmas, but it's being launched on Christmas Day, so I like to place context on that. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. Thank you for everything. I'll see you guys next time.